We next move on to our speaker. Before that, can I have a quick raise of hands from, because all of you are in college, how many of you have tried pursuing something or starting up or, especially in the technical domain? How many of you? Raise of hands, please. 1, 2, any more? I see 2 hands here, third here. There's a fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so about a dozen people, maybe a few more than that. The point here being, a lot of times we do not take that step, or we do not sort of manage to get that courage just because something is missing. And here's one such person amongst us who's taken that step, succeeded, and succeeded again. And so we thought, why not share that story with you? And so we have amongst us Vishnu Saran. Vishnu is an entrepreneur and a writer. Is currently running a voice technology company called Voice Qube. A Bitsian by education, he has experience of running 2 startups till date, which worked on growth hacking, consulting, and building over 60 plus voice applications for devices like Amazon Alexa. May I please request Vishnu to come on to the desk? A big round of applause for Vishnu. Vishnu is going to be discussing with us about technology entrepreneurship and how you can pursue it while still being in college.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I have no slides, so don't worry. There's no presentation for you. Now, how many of you like time travel? Wow, that's brilliant. So, how many of you are fans of Back to the Future? Great, Scott. Okay. So, I'm a student from BITS, Hyderabad, and if all of us time traveled to 3 years back, you could see me in the wings, and the only worry I had was whether the audience is going to laugh when Devesh cracks a joke. So we were into theater, and this auditorium is very dear to us, and it's absolutely a brilliant pleasure to come back here and talk to such a wonderful crowd. Now, before we move on to the serious topics, I'd like to ask a few questions. How many of you know what the biggest problem is in global societies today? Is there anyone who can pinpoint one problem which is present across all global societies? Yes? Fear of what people will say. That's a good answer, but it's not really accurate. Any other one? Stage fear, that's okay. That's not really a very huge problem, but okay. For governments and for organizations which are running societies, what is the biggest challenge that they have right now? What do we see all these politicians promising? Like every political campaign, you see that one part of their manifesto will always be the same. Security, no. Work, yeah. Jobs, exactly. So unemployment and jobs is the biggest problem across all global societies in the world. Right from America to India to Nigeria, everybody is struggling to create jobs. And why is that? Because all of us over here have joined engineering colleges just because we saw some senior of ours and their parents discussing that, my son got a job in Google, my son got a job in Amazon. But if everybody is seeking jobs, then who is creating them? Right? So this is the most motivating thing to me, right, about entrepreneurship. If you are an entrepreneur, you need not seek anywhere else for a job. You're actually a job creator. And I think it is the entrepreneur's responsibility in order to solve the biggest challenge on this earth. And how many of you like challenges, right? Great. See, I'm very delighted that a lot of you have raised your hands. So people who want to chase problem statements and people who want to solve problems in the world and create a dent in this universe, I think you have to take entrepreneurship and capitalism very seriously. Entrepreneurship can solve a lot of problems because it is sustainable in nature. So let's say you create a sustainable business model in Tumkunta village, and that is going to employ 3 people. That right there is lifting 3 families out of poverty and out of uncertainty, I would say. So entrepreneurship is absolutely brilliant, and it is probably the best thing that you could do in your life. But again, when I pursued entrepreneurship, I had a lot of my friends, a lot of my seniors discouraging me as in they're concerned, right? So they tell me that, it's a very gutsy step, or it's very courageous step. Let me tell you a secret. Entrepreneurship doesn't require any courage. In fact, after you step into this entrepreneurship, you would feel, what was I doing before? This Wednesday, I'm going to Bangalore. And Thursday, if I don't feel like working, I can go to a movie. I'm not bound to any physical place. I'm not bound to any time. I can do whatever I want. And the most important factor is, I can chase the problem statements that I'm passionate about. Let's say, can you tell me can you tell me a problem in the society right now which you would like to solve? Paper usage. Yeah, cool. So that is something which is into environment and things, but am I passionate to solve that problem? No, I'm not. I'm more passionate about technology. So would I be a right fit if I'm working in a company where somebody is working in this field and I'm given a task or given a problem statement that I need to solve? I might do the job because it is my duty to do so, but I won't put my 100% efforts in it. And if we are spending 2/3 of our life, right, 9 to 5, doing things which we are not putting our 100% efforts in, then what are we doing, right? So I think that's something which you need to give a thought about. Now, let's again go back in time a bit. I still remember going out of this college completely uncertain about what I'm going to do. We were not taught how to develop a website. We were not taught how to develop a mobile app. And I would call that as technology illiterate. And the reason, I'm a computer science graduate from BITS Pilani, Hyderabad. But I know how to code. I know what the languages are. I know how OS works. I know about networks. But we do not know how to create a website because that is not taught in our curriculum. And when you join a job, the first training that you would get is in HTML. And the only thing which you will be working on is creating these products, creating these web pages, which actually are user-facing and which actually make sense in the real world. But what do we learn? We learn DSA. Even in the interviews, we answer about DSA. How many of you agree? Right, so you understand. So I think being technology illiterate is the biggest problem for students to take that plunge into entrepreneurship. And that's exactly what happened with me. So I'll share my story with you. So my first company was called 23 Yards. We wanted to create an aggregating platform where public places like this, like let's say that logo over there, and you have a lot of sponsors around the auditorium, right? All these places are advertising spaces. And if you are a company sitting in the US and you want to market your product among a crowd of 6,000 students, you cannot really call Engineers Hub, or you cannot really call BITS Hyderabad and find out if there's an event happening and then advertise. So that's why they resort to things like Google AdWords, where you have a certain budget and Google takes care of where to take this ad to. So our idea was to create a platform where a company can buy ads and keep their brand in public places like cafes, restaurants, and etc. So this is not a very fascinating idea, and it's not really a viable idea as well. But we made all sorts of mistakes by taking the plunge. We had problems with co-founders. We had problems everywhere. And the reason why, even though we knew that this is not a really fancy idea, we went into it because we were technology literate, and technology was something which was very scary for us at that point of time. And our only awareness and background was into marketing. And the reason being, we were conducting fests like this, and we were going around companies asking for sponsorship. So that is the only domain that we know. So when you know a certain domain and when you know certain problems, your mind tends to keep going at it and trying to find solutions only for that. And because we were not really capable of building a website by ourselves, we limited ourselves. I don't think we can do architecture. I don't think we can do product development because we really don't have that knowledge or background to it. So we thought, why not do something as a normal business? So I think that's the biggest problem that all of us have. It is that we do not pursue curriculum or courses which are beyond our textbooks, right? Because we don't have any incentive to it. So I strongly believe that if a first-year student, every first-year student is taught how to develop a website, a mobile app, or a technology product as such, irrespective of their branch, whether you're a mechanical engineer, you're a civil engineer, or a chemical engineer, technology literacy is very important because technology has become synonymous to English. So just like how you need English to do any business in the world, you also need technology. It is a platform, and your domain knowledge comes on top of the platform in order to create something meaningful in your domain. So this is one of the reasons why we at Voice Qube, so Voice Qube is the name of my company. What we do is we build voice applications on Amazon Alexa, Google Home. You guys know Amazon Alexa, right? How many of you have really interacted with that? Oh, cool. So you just saw that video of Sir mentioning about Ross, right? How many of you found that interesting? So we at Voice Qube are an Indian company which is trying to do that, not just in English, but in all vernacular languages, not just in law, but in any professional domain. We want to lower the cost of professional advice. So let's say I am an expert in growth hacking or marketing. I can talk to each one of you in virtual conversations with my voice without being physically present. So technology is there to hack evolution. And I think technology literacy is very important for all of you. And because I know this, and I'm not qualified as all the other dignitaries who have come here and spoke, but I'm talking to you like a senior. And what I believe is just talking and just telling you or giving you gyan is absolutely rubbish. I mean, you would remember it today, but tomorrow, there's no action being taken care about it. But we at Voice Qube are very committed about this particular mission. So we are going to open something called Voice Clubs in every university in India, where we are going to help students to learn, build, and earn by developing voice applications. So if you are interested in this domain, I think you should go to our website and drop a message to us, and we definitely will reach out to your college and try to set something up for you. Thanks a lot for your time, and I hope all of you would keep this in mind, that both technical literacy and entrepreneurship are probably the most interesting things right now in this market. All the best.